Welcome back to the barn, everybody. We currently have the Focus almost ready to go onto the lift, but I'm just getting all my tools, all my oils, everything set up so that way we can get into mostly servicing, but the main focus of this video is going to be putting in the updated intake for the Focus. Ideally, if this all fits right, I'll be posting the files up online and posting the physical item for sale on my website. So without further ado, we're going to get into tearing into the Focus, some time lapses, and changing out all the necessary oils for the 90,000 mile service. So yeah. So to get into pulling the front clip off, because of my other maintenance, which involves rotating the tires, I'm going to start by taking the tires off. You don't have to do that in order to take the front clip off, but it does make it significantly easier. So I'm going to do that, pull the front bumper off, and again, like last time, I'll put a link down below to Cameron's video where he does a step-by-step, super good video of how to take the front clip off. Go watch that. I don't need to repeat the same information. So I do want to point out these little fins that make up the bottom corners of the bumper. They are pretty flimsy now that I've taken it on and off a handful of times. So what I did on the other side is I grabbed a little 1/8" drill and just put 2 holes. And now I'm going to route my zip tie through. If you're extra fancy, you start from the back side with the zip tie. And that way the head of the zip tie, when you're done, is hidden. Right, so you see I looped it through like that. And then I'm gonna zip it off camera, but you'll have just this flat zip tie as opposed to having the gross, ugly head poking out. Just a little trick. So here it is. This is the first attempt I made at making my own intake scoop. The whole reason with this scoop, unfortunately it's not seen so it doesn't look as cool, but the idea with this scoop is that it doesn't impede the airflow getting into the radiator. And in this area, it's all high pressure. Up here, into the intake, is very low pressure. So ideally, all of the air coming in and hitting this zone is going to have to go through the restriction that is the radiator, and it just gets forced upwards because of the high pressure to the low pressure inside the intake. So this should do a really good job. I do plan to do some wool testing and potentially put some pitot tubes in, but that's not right now. Now this first one, it came out rather far, so it impacted the cowling or the cover that goes over the top of this. So on my next version up here, I did change the sweep of how it comes down, but it ultimately ends up being in the same rough location as this one. It's just the geometry up here is slightly different. So I'm going to tear this apart. We're going to reuse this hardware and get the new one mounted up. So as you just saw from that previous time lapse, it was rather painful watching me use a pair of pliers to get the old one out. So I figured I'd take a moment right now to go over some of the changes and updates that took it from being a concept and more of a finalized product. So that way, if any of you buy one or download the files, you'll have an easier time installing it. So first off, they're both still printed in 2 pieces. This one, I didn't bother putting any flanges or any bolting because I knew I was only going to make one of these. And I just soldered it, plastic welded it, whatever you want to call it, together. I didn't put enough time into thinking about the bolting and how to get a socket in there in the first iteration. So the second iteration now is still printed in 2 pieces. Now there's bolting on 4 sides on the back. And on the bolting faces, I've made inlets, nice little cutouts. That way you can get a full-size socket and you can actually put washers to help spread the load out on the nut. Other than that, a lot of it's the same other than the slight geometry change I mentioned earlier. And so this new one has a nice little cutout so it fits perfectly on here. Just get it around the plastic and it slides right on. So the geometry did change a little bit, as I mentioned. So I'm gonna have to do some trimming in and around here just to make it fit. Other than that, I'll get back into another time lapse of me reinstalling this. All right, so we've got the new air scoop mounted. I'm really happy with the full process of getting it bolted on. It was effortless. I felt like I was installing an actual part rather than a proof of concept janky piece that got bolted onto the front of my car. I have one final fit check to do, putting the bumper back on and making sure that upper cowling doesn't impact here. It shouldn't, based off of the CAD, because I actually paid attention this time. And if it doesn't, and I'm happy with it, I'll be posting the files up on Cults, link down below, and I'll also be posting these up for sale on my website if you don't have a 3D printer and you just want it made. Also, link down below. Okay, so I did do one final test fit with the bumper. I'm almost happy with it. Unfortunately, this one little spot right here, this corner is hitting right here. And it is just barely touching this corner. So all I'm gonna do is try to shift my plane for this over slightly and try to get this line to come over just a little bit. And I think it'll be, that I think will make it perfect. This is the exact spot where I'm having the issue, where it's hitting. And so I'm gonna go through, play around with changing it. I think I'm just gonna scallop this out. It's gonna be the easiest way to do it. And I did bounce back already between the one I downloaded to see like what was the difference. So the gray right here is mine. And then this blue is their downloaded one. And I was like, what did I do that was so different? On theirs, if I get rid of mine, they have this cut in right here. Whereas mine, I just come straight out. That way, when I'm bringing air in, I have a wider intake. It probably doesn't matter all that much, but I think they did this to avoid that corner in the down sweep. So for me, I'm gonna scallop out this little corner. That way we don't have to worry about that impacting, and I'll be able to get these files uploaded as soon as possible. All right, so I promise this is gonna be the last ending update of this video. But I wanted to say all that stuff I was mentioning earlier in the video, the modifications I was gonna have to make to this, I made, and I wanted to get it installed, made sure it fit before I just threw a video up online. That way it can all be one cohesive thought and not have to wait for one more video where I actually upload stuff. But I got it in. I've now done the test fitting. It fits really good. I have all the clearance I need, so we're no longer impacting on this corner here. I'll get you a shot a little bit closer so you can see that that little scalloped edge I took out actually does do what I want it to do. So as you see, if I push the bumper up into place, this corner right here is what was impacting. I really don't know how I missed it, but I paid better attention this time to the CAD. And if we can get a good angle, we are no longer hitting on this corner, and the bolt up here sits nice and flush. So I'm really happy with this, looking forward to it. I think I might try to make a one print piece, but for now I'm gonna upload these files and get them rolling and possibly work on that at a later date. All right, so I was going through and editing the video and I thought, man, this video just wasn't long enough. Let's add a little bit more. In all seriousness, there's one more little part that I wanted to add that I didn't really get to talk to throughout this process of the video. And that's taking everything and really putting it together, using my head, and I came up with a one-piece print, mostly one piece. Because of the flange of the RS, on the inboard side, there's one little lip where the bolt sits. So I came up with this ear that slides into this slot, and then if you look at the flange, there's this little jut out. So now I can print it in one piece. It's a nice flat plane that can sit on the printer bed, and it'll print just like this. I'll overlay a time-lapse video of the print going, and it comes out really nice. Minimal support. There is, a little bit of support artifacting, but it's all on the underside. You're never going to see it, and I'm really happy with how it came out. This is just a failed print. We lost power the other day. I'm going to include these files when I post the Cults 3D link. If you want to mix and match for whatever reason, or you have printer limitations where you don't have as much height as I do, this is a great alternative. So it's just kind of a bonus. I already designed it. May as well just throw it in there and let you guys utilize it if needed. But I'm really happy with how this has come out. I had one more change that I did to this guy where I just added my logo to it. But you'll be able to get your physical products on my website or the 3D files for all of this in my Cults page, which will all be linked down below. So I think the next phase of this is going to be doing some testing where we'll have like little pitot tubes or pressure pickups, maybe some wool testing and a camera, and just start seeing if there is any actual improvements. Because this all really started just because I didn't want to pay $200 for an air intake. And I had a lot of fun designing this. So even on the cost of all the engineering hours wasted, I think it was worth it. So for all of you that stuck around and hung out, thanks for being here. I'll see you guys in the next one.